Hey guys, the WalterFootball.com After Dark Show for February 16, 2025. We're going to be talking about the Super Bowl, more so Tom's hatred of the Chiefs. Is it quelled because they lost? We'll see. We'll see what he says. But before we get into that, please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video. Visit the link in the description for the merch store. As you can see, I am wearing a Cole's Body, Cole's Choice shirt. You can get that and many other shirts on the merch store, which, by the way, I am very frustrated with this merch store because I submitted like 6 new shirts and like 3 new mugs, and like none of it's here. I did this on Wednesday and Thursday. Usually it's like 48 hours for it to clear. Maybe it's because it's a holiday weekend that it's not up yet, but I was hoping to show some of it off today, but I guess we're going to save it till Tuesday. So yeah, anyway, you still have a 15% sale here. And I believe if you come to the site, they give you like another 20% off. I'm not sure about that, but you guys can check. So you can get a good deal off of these shirts. Some of these shirts are as low as like $13. $14. Like, even though it says 15% off, it's actually a lot lower than it was. I guess, I don't know. I guess inflation is going down. I don't know. Like, it's cheaper despite being 15% off. So you can get these shirts as well. You can go to Amazon, buy my books. Jerks to College Years is the most recent one where I make fun of people at Penn State. Also, of the 2020 MVP was stolen, which is an expose about how Brett Favre tried to sabotage Aaron Rodgers 4 years ago. So if you guys haven't heard that story, you're in for a treat. Also, super chats, super stickers are the best way to support the show. We had a great super chat from the boss on Tuesdays for $50. It's because he won like $15,000 on our Eagles pick back when we bet them at 17-1 to win the Super Bowl. He also won on Saquon Barkley winning Offensive Player of the Year. So congratulations, the boss. That's awesome. And thank you so much for your contribution. We also got super chats from Slew and John Sanders again in recent days. So thank you so much, guys. Just really, really means a lot that you continue to support the show. Also, Alan Stafford, King Making Eagle, you guys have been great with your contributions as well. And I can't say that enough. It's
USA scores. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, we are joined by hockey enthusiasts and giver picks that are unclear which country to bet. Tom Quacky, how's it going?
That might have been one of our best intros. That might have been one of
real quick. So Tom texts me. I'm actually on the can here, right behind me, and he goes, USA versus Canada is on. Bet this game. They're fighting for God.
No, I did not say bet this game. I have the record.
I have it here. You said actually here we go. You said
you're about to be
you say USA versus Canada. 3 fights in 5 minutes. These teams are fighting for God and country. 1-1 tie game.
And you said what 4 nations? I said USA, Canada,
yes.
Finland, Sweden. Those are the 4. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, in lieu of the All-Star game, they're in the NHL. They're doing this All USA team, Canada team, and there's, as opposed to where there was no meaning before, there is a little like they came out. There were 3 fights like early in the game, and like you can tell these guys are playing hard. It's been a good game. At no point did I say bet this. There's the record is clear.
Wait a second.
I don't know. No. You're wrong.
You go 2-1 USA. Like, did you bet this?
Yeah. I actually came out of retirement. Came out of retirement. Let me tell you something. I live bet USA when they're down 1-0 and they're about to win 3-1. So, okay. But you look. I will set the record straight. I'll tweet it out if I have to. I did not lead you. So I never said bet this.
Well, I didn't bet it, but I don't know. Whenever you say
what does it matter?
Whenever you say put on a game or something, or pay attention to a game, like it's implied that it's betting. I thought you meant Canada too, because the game's in Canada, I think, and the U.S. anthem was booed. I saw that on Twitter, so that's how I know. And you said they were fighting for God and country. I thought you meant Canada because they were in Canada and they hate the USA suddenly. Because of Donald Trump, he hurt their feelings too much. So, so
I just meant that's like an old saying, like for God and country. It's like, it's like the way what they would say for like, I don't know, like soldiers going into battle sort of thing. Well, I'm glad you laid off of it, but I took USA. I came and let me tell you what, as you all know quite well, since the Battle of the Horses, I hardly bet until the Super Bowl. I came out. No, okay. The AFC Championship game, I put $11 on the Chiefs money line, and that came through. And then I hit a bunch of the props that I posted on my Twitter last week. I think I only went like 3 out of 6, but 2 of them were I had DeAndre Hopkins anytime touchdown, and I put a unit each on Kansas City and Philadelphia defensive or special teams touchdown, and that was 8-1. So. And then how about the Juju Smith-Schuster? He had like 16 yards in the first quarter, and like was it the first drive? And I was like, well, I guess that under 16 and a half isn't going to hit. But then actually pretty soon after, I thought, you know what? I have a weird feeling that we'll get there. I have a weird feeling, and it did. He didn't catch another pass.
Yeah, no, he did. He caught 2 early passes, and that was it for him. I was so adamant that you had to fade him in DFS. I don't think we did a show leading up to the Super Bowl where we talked about DFS at all. But like whenever I did a DFS show with anyone, it was first with Kenny and then the golf guys on last Saturday. I was like, do not play Juju, and like everyone was like Kenny and like the 2 golf guys, like, well, Juju just fits the roster. I'm like, don't play Juju. He sucks. He had like 1 good game since that Monday night game against the Saints. Like just 1 good game. And like he hadn't made an appearance at all outside of that. And then like he caught the first pass in the Super Bowl. Then he caught, I think, another pass. And I was like, oh man, I'm gonna eat some crow here. But that was it. He only caught 2 passes the entire game.
Yeah. The very first pass of the game was 11 yards. I was like, freaking butts, man. Come on. But I did have a weird feeling. Like after that, I was like, I could see that happening. He doesn't get another one. But then I thought maybe in garbage time they were going to. But let's cut right to the chase. I was happier than a pig in slop, huh?
Oh, I was wondering about that because let's say this for people tuning in for the first time. You have I talked to Andy on Thursday when he was on. I said I don't know anyone in the world who hates the Chiefs more than Tom. So
wait, Andy said that?
No. I said that to Andy when he was on Thursday. And so I was eager to hear your whole thing. Well, I mean, real quick, do you want to tell everyone why you hate the Chiefs, and then describe your emotion as the Eagles destroyed them in the Super Bowl a week ago?
Yeah, well, look, it's not this dynasty to me has just, and look, I really don't like to touch on it too much anymore because I believe it's canon, and it's like I feel like I'm beating a dead horse on the point because most people I feel like agree with me, but. It's just like I didn't feel this way about the Patriots because some people are like, oh, you just don't like them because they win all the time. Like, and I understand that we have the appetite. The public has an appetite for these rise and fall narratives, and we want to see the team that wins too much. We want them to lose. Like think about like how the great Duke teams with Christian Laettner were hated. Think about like the Patriots dynasties. They were hated. But like, I still didn't I never felt that way about like the way I feel about the Chiefs. It's just something about their brand. It's annoying. And it's weird because like you can't turn them off like when you watch football. And it's just like it's the only dynasty that I didn't. I really got tired of their brand as opposed. I never really got tired of the winning of the other of the other dynasties. I mean, to some degree, I did, but it wasn't because it wasn't my team. Sort of mentality, as is the defense for the fans of those dynasties, But no, I was glad, and you know what? I wonder. I mean, I think the Eagles. Like, do you think the NFL would have, lost some viewers next year if the Chiefs had won? Like, I don't know. I think that's easy to speculate. Before you answer, like, it's easy to speculate about, and I guess we're not. Because I feel like the NFL is like it's a pig, man. You can do anything to it, and like people are still going to watch like almost all the time, So maybe a few less people would watch, but not enough to like make a big change. I don't think that's not how it works. And people seem to think like, oh, like we could change it if we just stop watching. It's like we'll get over it. We still want to look, everyone still wants to check it out. So I don't know, but I'm glad that I'm glad the Eagles won. I'm from Pennsylvania originally, and there were times where I really disliked the Eagles over my lifetime, but I've always followed what they've done. And I was very happy for them. So that was also why I was rooting for them as well. I have a lot of friends that are Eagles fans, and I know they're happy as well. So all in all, the season ended on a good note, man. I got hot. Maybe I shouldn't have let the Battle of the Horses influence me. I got hot with the picks.
That's what I'm telling you. You had to get back on the wagon. Like I was saying it the whole time.
Well, maybe if you inquire a little further next time I text you about a hockey game, just be like, "Could you please provide clarification?"
Well, I didn't even know what you were talking about. Even you said 4 nations. I was like, "What is that?"
Yeah, it's called the Four Nations hockey.
What about the other nations that aren't represented here? Like the one hockey player from like Sri Lanka.
You know what, Walter? The first several years they did the college football playoffs, it was only 4 teams. These things take time.
Okay. All right. They should have like, I feel like they could have enough for like 7 teams, and then there could be like an other. Like the one guy from the Central African Republic, like the one guy from Sri Lanka, the one guy from, I don't know, Thailand. I don't know. Like I feel like they could just combine all of them and have 8. I still wouldn't watch. I'm just saying that like it seems more fair for like the good hockey players from the other countries who are not able to be involved. Although they get like a paid vacation here, so it's still pretty cool.
What this reminds me of, kind of. You remember it was January 2022, and during the Winter Olympics, and Canada was playing the Chinese national hockey team. Remember I gave you this tip?
Yeah,
I said take Canada -4.5.
Yeah,
because like I looked up this video because I was like, I didn't even know they played hockey there, and I looked up this video. It's like basically the team is only there because they were playing in Beijing because Beijing was hosting it. Okay. So like at one point in this video I watched, they said like they still weren't going to let them in because they were so bad, and like they said that the argument was, well, they're really nice guys. Like, they're good people. Come on, like, just give them their day in the sun. So they let them in. It was like, and then they played him again. Because I remember I texted you, I was like, they're playing him again.
Yeah.
Like, better again. But, and Canada did cover 4.5 both times. But both times they only won by 5. So, but hey, I mean, at the end of the day, it was still there.
How embarrassing for Canada that they only won by 5 against a team that was only in the Olympics because they were the hosting country.
Yeah, but that was one of the. But I tipped you off to that. I think that's the only time I've ever bet on the Olympics.
Yeah, well, we weren't old enough to bet the Dream Team, unfortunately.
Who did they beat? Angola by like 74 points or something?
Yeah, just covered the spread. It was 69.5.
Could you imagine that? Like you take like one of those. Oh, I think it was Angola, wasn't it? Is that?
I think so. It's not whatever. It's one of those companies, but you're like even surprised that they have a basketball team, like they've heard of basketball.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny how that changed actually for the beating that the Dream Team put on.
Oh yeah,
put on all those countries, because now Michael Jordan. I mean, it's well documented that Michael Jordan influenced.
Oh yeah,
the globe. I mean, he's a global sensation. And look at like all the great players that came from like so many different countries that didn't even have basketball then. So okay, I rescind my statement in the green room about the basketball, USA basketball. I just feel like they like they're going to win, and I know they haven't won every time, but like remember like the Dream Team, it's like, and like the subsequent like 2 teams, it's like you knew they weren't going to lose.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I don't know, like
now.
Exactly. Yeah. So now, like it's more fun to watch. I don't watch it, but it would be more fun to watch as opposed to before. I mean, unless you just want to watch a clinic. It's like, remember when Michael Jordan, the last year before the Bulls, they did like that FIBA or like tournament over in France, and they just played like the French teams or whatever over there. Mm-hmm. It's like, how do you think they advertise that to the teams? They're like, hey, you guys want to play on this basketball team that gets their asses kicked by Michael Jordan? Like, yeah, that'd be great.
Well, it's some weird sports advertisements over the years. Like the first Packers Bears game, when they were building the rosters, the first advertisement for that was like, hey, come play football. You get to hit other men and not go to jail.
I remember that. I
mean, it was a real thing. That's how people sign up for it. Can you imagine, like, if you told those people, hey, in like 80, 90 or so years, like if you were playing then, you would make millions of dollars. like how salty would they be? Like, wait, you're just doing this for almost free.
You know what I was thinking about was we mentioned this before, the Malcolm Butler interception on the one Super Bowl. That was a decade ago.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I was thinking about that moment, and that is one of my favorite Super Bowl moments because, and of course, we're talking about the Super Bowl where the Seahawks didn't give it to Marshawn Lynch on the one, and they threw that interception. Malcolm Butler, and that's such a cool moment. Like after, like you can see like his teammates carrying like Butler off the field, and he's like falling over, and he's like overcome with emotion. It's like, my God, man, do you realize what you've just done?
Right.
And you'll be remembered forever for that. That's like one of the and conversely, like what's so interesting? If that had worked, Pete Carroll would have been up in the press conference chewing his cud, and being like, "Oh, everyone thought we were going to run, and like, aren't I a genius coach? No one thought I would throw it, and that's how we."
Well,
that's what would have happened. It's undisputed.
The problem with that is, like, the Patriots would have had like 1:30 and a timeout left, so there was like no guarantee that they still would have won. Which is why
they had 28 seconds or 35
seconds. There were 35 seconds, and they still had a timeout though. They still had one timeout. Right. So, like, they still would have had a chance. I mean, Patrick Mahomes got down the field in 13 seconds. So,
absolutely.
Like, it still could have happened. So, like, the fact that they didn't run the ball to make the Patriots use their timeout was like asinine. Like, even if you don't get it, like your mission is accomplished. Like, you take the timeout away from Tom Brady, and then you run it again, and then you call timeout with like 15 seconds left or so. And then you set up 2 more plays. So you can even run the ball again or throw. If you want to run the ball again, maybe like 20 seconds. But
you think they got a little cocky, don't you? Like, just from like coming off a Super Bowl win, we're going to do it again.
I don't know if it was.
You think?
I don't know if it was cockiness, but I think they just outthought themselves. It's like, hey, like they know we're going to run the ball. We know we're going to run the ball. Let's not run the ball. I don't think it's like cockiness. I think it was. I mean, well, NFL players, NFL coaches, I feel like they're all cocky to an extent, but I don't think that was the case here. It's not like the prevailing thing in that case.
You know what's really strange to think about too is how impactful that play was for both the Patriots and the Seahawks. I mean, if they had gone back to back, like that's a very different situation there. Yep. And that was the first of the second, like three Super Bowl dynasty. The second set of 3 they did 3 out of 4 years, right? 14, 16.
And is 18. It's 14, 16.
Yeah, 14, 16. Okay, so 3 and 6 years, right? Wait, or 5 seasons. 3 and 5.
Yeah, because they beat in 14 to beat the Seahawks, and 16 to beat the Falcons, and then 18 to beat the Rams.
Okay. But that was the first of that set of 3. That Seahawks, you know what I mean? And they hadn't won the Super Bowl. Like, yeah, they always had a strong team, but the Patriots hadn't won the Super Bowl in 10 years. Yeah, that really would have changed things. I could have changed the course of things. Brady. I mean, it's the great sports argument of all time. There's Brady haters and people that love him, and it's like, man, he's really gotten lucky. I mean, how many teams throw an interception at the one, Walter, in the biggest game in the life? How many teams blow a 28-3 lead?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like
it is. I mean, there is some luck involved in anything, but I mean, the fact that Tom Brady's great, and so I mean, most quarterbacks wouldn't have been able to come back from 23 down.
That's doodah luck for you right there.
I don't know, man. Like I said, there is some luck, but and the Falcons did do some stupid things, but I mean, Brady's just a special player. Like, he was able to come back. Like, there's only like a very few quarterbacks who could have done what he did against Atlanta.
Sure.
Like, he was amazing in the second half of that game. He led a great drive right before the Marshawn Lynch failed drive, right before we threw the touchdown to Edelman. Like, he's had some great moments. That Rams Super Bowl was pretty ugly. Like, maybe there's some luck to the opposing quarterback for getting a snap count. We've seen Jared Goff do some stupid things too. But like, in the end, I mean, it's Brady. Like, what Brady was best at was just like being prepared for everything and like knowing everything the opposing defense is going to do, like and making very quick decisions on top of that. Like that, like his just cerebral, just like is just the way that he was able to dominate in that sort of fashion. just made him the best, and his longevity too. I was saying this to Kenny, like, you know, we used to always talk about Brady versus Manning, like in 03, 04, 05, 06, like that's what the debate was. It was like who's better, Brady or Manning? Like everyone had that debate, and then they both came into the NFL around the same time. That Manning was 98, Brady was 2000. Manning retired after the 15th season, and if you take Brady's career after Manning retired, so 2016 onward, just that, like that alone is a Hall of Fame career. Like that's insane.
Right.
That's insane. You know, and so yeah, I mean he's greatest of all time. So like my point is that yeah, like other teams have done stupid things, and yeah, he did get lucky, but at the same time, like if he wasn't so great, like he wouldn't have won all the Super Bowls either. You know.
Right. Speaking of Hall of Fame, how about Sterling Sharp getting in there?
I mean, you're the Packer fan. Why don't you talk about it?
I love it.
He deserves it.
I love the man, of course.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I thought it was more interesting that Eli Manning didn't get in. I thought I did. Well, I was gonna say this. I didn't think that he deserved to be in. I don't think he deserves to be in at all.
Oh no.
I thought there's a chance that that the voters would vote him in, like even first ballot. I thought that was a real possibility. I think they'll eventually do it. Maybe not next year. There are like a lot of really good contenders next year. I think ultimately Eli will be in just because of his last name. You know, they'll talk about the 2 Super Bowl wins, of course, but I like if his name was Eli Jones. No offense to people named Jones, but like I don't think he would be in at all.
Eli Jones, that's Daniel's brother. He deserves to be in.
Well, because he's Daniel Jones' brother, he's definitely not getting in.
Yeah, you know what's funny? A lot of people said that they thought that was like the worst Super Bowl, was a boring Super Bowl, the one we just had with the Eagles and the Chiefs. Well, like, I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, it goes to this comment by Patrick. I'm going to go ahead and say it. The most boring Super Bowl since Patriots Rams. But that was worse because we also had Maroon 5. I mean, we can talk about the halftime show. We can talk about how
I don't want to talk about the halftime show. I hate every halftime show that ever existed in the history of mankind. I don't get the let me pull back. I'm not actually, it doesn't weigh on me that much. I don't know. I never understood the halftime show. Maybe because I was in marching band for a time and I hated doing that. And it's like,
why'd you do it if you hated it?
because I was a musician, but I didn't like, it was part of it. Like if you're going to be in the band, you had to be in the marching band.
Okay.
And I wanted to be in the band. So it was just something I did. And I tried to just but I hated it. I just like, I don't understand the allure of it. I guess this is like my contrarian personality, like in a nutshell, but I know like tons of people watch it. Some people who don't even watch sports tune in to Super Bowl just to watch the halftime show. And it's just like, why? And that's fine. Like if you enjoy that sort of thing, that's cool. I'm not like making fun of you, but it just never made any sense to me. It never made any sense to me. So I think all halftime shows are dumb, but that doesn't mean I think you're dumb if you like them. But yeah, like it's just like, don't ask me what I think about any halftime show ever because I'm going to tell you I think it's dumb. I don't care what it was. I'm going to tell you it's dumb. And that's the end of it.
Let's your top 5 halftime shows. Get ready, go.
No, I mean, you know, the one. No, you know what? No, I stand by what I said. All halftime shows I think are dumb. I can't get into it. I can't get into it.
Well, look, it's for the casuals. Like no real football fan is going to be excited because really you could just, if you want to listen to their music, you could just turn on you know, like iTunes or whatever, Spotify, whatever you use, and just listen to their music. Like you don't, and it's going to sound better because it's not performed live. Although you don't get the visuals of it, but like I don't know, I was never into like aesthetic things or anything. I mean, just look at my website, you know. So I don't I don't really care about that stuff. But like I said, it's for the casuals who are just like watching to watch. You know,
I understand that. Yeah,
and it's just an event, and you know that's how they get like you know Joe Schmo's wife to watch in addition to Joe Schmo. Like Joe Schmo's going to watch the game. His wife is like, oh, let me see the commercials and you know who's on at halftime. Oh, Kendrick Lamar. I like his music. Like that's what it's for.
For sure.
Yeah. Look, I like people like us and everyone watching this. You know, like even if you like the musician, Like I imagine that you're like, okay, give me just a regular halftime. The regular halftime is 12 minutes. Super Bowl halftime is 30 minutes. And so, although I was able to make a same game parlay during halftime that won, like having that amount of time like was useful. But usually I just want to like get to the third quarter because like it just feels like an eternity, you know. It's just like just want it to end.
Agreed. And I know all that you were saying for sure, and I get that, but I don't know. It's like to me, it's just like a delay. But I'll tell you what, they were pretty. The broadcast was pretty good, I thought, this year. As far as I know it's not going to start at exactly on time. No, even a regular season game doesn't. But like it was pretty efficient. I didn't feel like I was left waiting too much, as I have it. Like some years, it's like this is absolutely brutal with the commercials, and I get it. It's all it's all paid for and the whole 9 yards. But like, it's like all these things are happening. Like, oh, and by the way, there's a football game. It's like I just want to watch the game. Just put on the damn game. Like that's what I'm here for. And it just the ceremony can be a bit much at times with all the interruptions, I guess. So.
That's why I always thought that, the Super Bowl doesn't even feel like a real game. It feels like the last football games of the season are the NFC and AFC championships. And then we have this, like, instead of a game, it's like an event, And it's like there's just football within it, but it's really just a show, just like a grand show.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
With like, you have the not just the halftime, you have like all the national anthem stuff beforehand and whatnot.
Analysis.
Pregame. You have like 6 hour pregame show.
Yeah, they do
maybe even longer
pieces on like each individual. Like he grew up right here in and was wanted to be in the NFL since he, and they'll do like a piece on like different players and talk about their season and everything and what it means to be, that goes on for hours. Like. I just want to watch the game. Like I can appreciate those sorts of things up to a certain point, but not for that long. I guess I don't know. Maybe that makes me a bad fan. I have not been a good fan
since the Battle of the Horses.
Since the exactly.
Cassandra agreeing with us does not feel like a real game. Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe that's by design because it used to be just the NFL. It's obviously still the NFL, like the NFL before the AFL joined. And then the AFL joined, and they had the NFL championship and the AFL championship, and maybe now they're the NFC and AFC. Like maybe that's just for the best. And you have the two winners of the former leagues, and then they play each other. So like maybe that it's the Super Bowl. Like it's it's super. It's supposed to have this great pageantry. Like they have these performers and stuff. I personally, and this would never fly with the casuals. So like I would rather have them like have a quiz show or something. That's like super fast, so you can't look it up real quick. And like you go on your computer, and like whoever answers the most questions like wins a prize or something. I think that would be more interesting. I'd be like way more engaged in that than like some music. I'm not like a big music fan though.
That's interesting. That's really interesting.
Yeah, or some sort of game. I don't know. Like remember, not that I would recommend it for this, but like Fox used to have a show called like Bingo, and like. You would play live, like you could print out sheets, like they would generate random sheets on like their website, and then they would have like the numbers come up, and then like whoever won like the quickest would actually win real money. I don't want to see that for the NFL necessarily, but like some sort of game like that where like you could be engaged and like win something. Like people get into Quizzo. Like why don't you have like a Quizzo sort of deal with you just ask football questions. And then people can submit their answers like super quickly online. Like I said, you couldn't give them a lot of time because everyone could just look up the answers. It would be like 10 seconds to answer something, and each question would like flash on the screen. I don't know. I think something like that would be cool, something to try. But again, I don't think it would like appease all the casuals. And the NFL is never going to think outside the box. They just make way too much money to have any sort of risk like that. So
yeah. Well, I'll tell you what I mean, also because I was happy with the outcome, but I mean, this is the best Super Bowl for me in a while. People said they hated it; it was a terrible game. I was like, no way. I loved it. Oh, so happy.
Yeah.
So happy. I mean, I like how the Eagles like got like everyone involved.
Yeah.
Too. It seemed like so. And
except for Saquon Barkley.
I know. You know what? I had a feeling that was going to happen. I had a feeling
Well, that's why we needed you on the show. You could have talked me out
I'm
of
sorry.
all my DFS lineups. I had all Saquon Barkley in all my lineups, and the winning lineup said no Saquon Barkley in it. It was Xavier Worthy was captain, even though he like did nothing until it was 40-6.
You should have captained Juju Smith. He was going to be go off there.
Right?
Yeah. No, I. Oh, let me tell you the story completely. Well, yeah, let's just change topics real quick. So I hate to be Sergeant Sally Safety here, but so I woke up 2 mornings ago about 5:30 in the morning, and my neighbor's house, 2 doors down from me, the house was on fire. And I sent you the video, Walter. It was really intense. I never saw anything like that. It was like this firefighter came over because like the hot ash was blowing towards like my house, and it was really something to. We had to like wait outside for like an hour. It was crazy, but anyhow. So this public service announcement: make sure you're checking your lint catchers and everything.
Is that what it was?
I don't know what it was. Everybody was okay, like thankfully, but like
okay.
It was. I'll tell you what. It was slightly frightening to like be that close to it. It was an interesting experience. So that's my public service announcement first. Sorry to be Sergeant Sally Safety here on the show.
I thought you're gonna. Yeah. Well, yeah. First of all, yeah, for sure. But second, I thought you were gonna tie it to like the Chiefs' season burning to the ground or something like that sort of deal. Like. And you being like, obviously you were not going to be happy about your neighbor's house burning down, unless you hate them or something. Like if they don't clean up the poop or something.
Don't say that. Don't say that. That's
neighbors have hated each other throughout.
Yeah,
the years.
but no, don't. Yeah, but don't imply that.
I'm not implying you.
No,
I don't know if they threw eggs at your house or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It was. Yeah, I just want everyone to be safe. That's all.
I know, but I'm saying, as opposed to that, like you not cheering that on, you were very happy to see the Chiefs season.
Oh, I mean, absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely. It was. I don't know. I didn't think it was going to be like that though, because as you know, I really liked. What is it? Will there be a tie after 0-0? Yes, I thought for sure it was going to be like a close game, kind of like another walk-off sort of situation, like we've seen the Chiefs do so many times in big games, and yeah, that obviously didn't happen. I didn't think it was going to be like that. Isn't that interesting? First, like both of their Super Bowl losses were, were real beatdowns. What was the 31-9? Right, they lost to Tampa.
Was it 31-9 or a 38-9? I can't. It was one of those.
It was either 31-9 or
31-9. It was 31-9. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it was the same formula both times against the Buccaneers. They couldn't block, and they just couldn't score as a result. Against the Eagles, they couldn't block, and they couldn't score until garbage time. Like that's the age-old formula. Like I used to say this all the time. Like you mentioned Malcolm Butler being a decade ago. This is more than a decade. I used to always say that to have success in the NFL, you need a quarterback, you need to protect the quarterback, and you need to get to the quarterback. And the Chiefs had 2 out of the 3, although against the Eagles, they couldn't really get to Hurts all that often. But they couldn't protect Mahomes at all. And the Eagles had all 3. And Mahomes just couldn't do anything. Like the Eagles rushed 4 on every play. They didn't blitz a single time, which is really impressive. And like that we could have predicted because they had like the 5th lowest blitz rate in the NFL. And if you blitz Mahomes, like you're just dead. And like that was like Houston's stupidity back in the divisional round of the playoffs. Like they were getting the Mahomes just 4 guys, but then they started blitzing for like no reason. And that's when Mahomes beat them. And so they ended up losing, even though they only had like 212 yards of offense. Because like the Chiefs hit just enough big plays. Like the Houston had the same sort of pass rush the Eagles did. They just played stupidly, and their offense was just so defunct with all those receivers out. But the Eagles had the same formula. It's the same formula that the Giants had against the Patriots both times. Same formula that the Broncos had against MVP Cam Newton. You say, like that's the old saying. It's like defense wins championships, and it's true. If you have a great pass rush where you don't need a blitz and the opposing offensive line can't block, like you're going to win every time. And, that's one of the two reasons why I picked the Eagles. And it was why I said on the show a few times, I thought there was like a 10 to 15% chance the Eagles would blow out the Chiefs. I did not think the opposite would occur. Like, I was like, I would be utterly shocked if like the Chiefs blew out the Eagles. Like I said that like something would have to go terribly wrong. Like if Hurts and Barkley went down and there were some weird turnovers, like that's like the formula for the Chiefs blowing out the Eagles. But the Eagles, I thought, had a clear path to that. And yeah, I thought it'd be closer like you. I had the Eagles winning 23-20. But it was really the two interceptions that really tilted the game because the first one was a pick six, right? So that's 7 points right there. And then when Mahomes was hit by Sweat and Bond picked it off, like that was right near the Chiefs goal line. So like the Eagles scored right away after that. So that's 14 points. Like if you take 14 off 40, it's 26-20, right? And so like the defense just dominating really had just obviously a big impact on the game. And I thought until Hurts's deep pass to Devontae Smith, I thought the MVP was going to be a defensive player again, and I thought it was going to be Josh Sweat. But when Hurts hit that big play, I'm like, yeah, it's going to be Hurts now.
Yeah, you best believe I was flipping out because when on that pick six, because I had Eagles defensive touchdown, so I was like, please get in. I was really scared he was going to get knocked out there at the end. But then, I had a unit on that, and I had a bonus bet, and I had 2 units on DeAndre Hopkins anytime touchdown.
You did, I saw it.
Yeah, so that was fantastic because I figured he's past his prime. He's one of the better receivers to play the game, and first Super Bowl, I figured they would probably give him a shot, and it was in garbage time, but it got there. I was happy about that. So it was a great day all the way around, man. There's no complaints here.
Speaking
because real quick, sorry, because I only took Chiefs money line because I like the Eagles too, but I only took Chiefs money line to set myself up where either I was going to win some money and ease the pain of the Chiefs going 3 in a row, or I'll be happy they lost, and that's for that bet. It was happy they lost. So
you should have taken Chiefs plus 3.5 or something. So like the Eagles could have won and you'd still win money or something. I would have recommended that to you. Because that's where I was because I had a hedge or middle my Eagles 17-1 Super Bowl bet that I made back in April. So I bet the Chiefs plus 3.5, and then I parlayed Chiefs plus 7.5 and Jalen Hurts 25 plus rushing yards, which like Hurts hit that easily like by the second quarter. But 7.5 obviously didn't hit. And then in game I bet 9.5. And I thought it was a good number. And then my dad, who had 15-1 on the Eagles in the Super Bowl, he was a little more patient, and he got plus 16.5 on the Chiefs. I was like, man, that's a great number, and he didn't cover. It was 18, the final margin. So
wow,
that's pretty insane. I was about to say, go ahead.
Super Bowl champion Kenny Pickett.
That was it. Yeah, that was a great pick. The only quarterback from that class to go in the first round. That's going to be a hell of a remock draft, which I just did the 2020 redraft. It's going to be posted probably next week. Spoiler alert, Joe Burrow still number 1.
Hey, I'll tell you what, how mad is Pittsburgh now that they let Pickett go and he wins the Super Bowl next season?
Exactly.
Magic marker. Did you really? Congrats, man. That's a great
28-1
hit, man.
That's great. That's awesome.
I wish I would have thought to do that too, obviously. But like if I would have picked a player on the Eagles defense, it would have been him.
Yeah.
Honestly, but so I still got the 8-1. Congrats there, Magic Marker. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, congrats. During the game, FanDuel had will the Eagles, when it was 24-0, the prop was will the Eagles win by more than 46 points, and the odds on that were like 300-1 or 400-1. And I was like, let me throw $10 on this, and I was like, man, and then the Eagles scored a touchdown, and it did they score a touchdown or they kicked the field goal, I think, and then they scored a touchdown. Yeah. And then the odds on that dropped to like 100-1. And I was like, man, I got a great number at 351. And obviously it didn't work out, but I was like, for a while, I was like, this would be great. Speaking of Hopkins, I wanted to ask you this. Who was the most disappointing player in the Super Bowl? Now, I wouldn't say Mahomes because like he just had no chance with that offensive line. Like if he had better protection, he would have done much better. It was just really hard circumstances when your offensive line can't block against a great pass rush. You just have no shot. I think my two candidates are DeAndre Hopkins and Travis Kelce because, and I say like Kelce, I don't know if you saw the video of him just like lollygagging like on the field where like Mahomes is running for his life, he's just standing there, and then he like missed a block on another play. Like it just looked like to me. I thought he had this like grand plan to propose to Taylor Swift after the game. And then once he learned that it wasn't going to work out, that wasn't going to happen, he just quit on the team. Like, cause he looked like he was not trying at all. And then Hopkins right before halftime, he draws a wide open pass. Like he would have scored easily. And to me, it's like he waited his whole career to get here. Like he had never played in a great career, maybe a Hall of Fame career. Like he had like just waited his entire life, his entire career just to get to the Super Bowl. And then he could make the biggest play of his career and he just drops the pass. Like unbelievable. So I know he scored at the end, but that play didn't matter for the result. So who would you say was more disappointing? Like Hopkins, Kelce, or maybe someone else that I'm not thinking of?
No, those two certainly come to mind because when he dropped that one, I was like, oh, like because I had him anytime touchdown, I was like, maybe you could make something out of that. But yeah, I was surprised. And it's like, Kelce was MIA, and then he looked checked out, and yeah, I definitely didn't anticipate any of that. Geez, they didn't get past the 50-yard line until the third quarter?
3 minutes left in the third quarter. How late did the Giants go versus the Ravens for doing that? Was it fourth quarter?
It was definitely second half, and I want to say it was fourth quarter.
Yeah, I think so.
34-7 was the final of that game.
Yeah, because the kickoff return.
Yeah. You know, the Ravens still like they're like, damn it, like it makes it look like if you just look at the score, it looks like their defense gave that up. That defense gave up 16 points in 4 playoff games.
It's crazy.
Run.
Yeah,
average. You know, and even if you cancel, so 23 points in 4 playoff games, that's less than 6 points a game. Even if you, and that doesn't even count those special teams. So 16 points on defense. That's completely insane. That's 1 touchdown.
Yeah, when you only need 1 touchdown to win, like you're in good shape.
Yeah, remember that year they went 5 games in a row without scoring a touchdown, and they went 3-2, 3-2, and they didn't score a single touchdown. That's how good that team was.
Yeah, and then they decided to go from Tony Banks to
the GOAT, the greatest of all time, Trent Dilfer.
Right,
dude, I love Dilfer. You're a big fan of his, yeah?
Well, I think that he was an amazing game manager, like for that team.
I was like him. I'm not saying he was great.
Look, when he was on ESPN, I thought he was a fine analyst, and he had the Dilfer dimes, which I don't know, it was okay. He always seemed like fine to me. I never disliked him. I never was like, oh man, Trent Dilfer's on. Let me see what he says, But I always I thought his analysis was decent. So I feel like ESPN would be better off with him right now than the bozos they have. I think so.
Dude, they should bring Emmett back.
I would
watch. Yeah. I would watch for sure.
If I ran a network, it would be Kevin Riley, Emmett Smith, Jay Cutler, Don Tollefson, all those guys, Kamala Harris. Bring them on, Joy Taylor, bring them all on.
Hey, next year, bet the Houston Texans to win the Super Bowl. I'm telling you.
Well, okay, we can get into that. Let's.
Well, yeah, we can keep. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to throw us off track or anything. I don't know what track we were on, but.
There's never any track. There was real quick. Let's close out this thing. John says Mahomes missed some wide open throws and threw 2 back-breaking picks near his own end zone. Can't have that. Yeah, look, Mahomes did not have a good game at all. The second pick, I don't think was his fault because he was hit as he threw the ball. Like that, that just really impacted that. First one was bad. Like that whole first drive was a disaster. Not the first interception drive, I should say, because he took a sack and then a sack, and it was 3rd and 16, and then he threw the pick 6. Like that was just a calamity for the Chiefs. Like, but for the second pick, it was Sweat just crashing into him and like dislodging the pass basically. Like that I wouldn't say that one was his fault, but Mahomes did not have a good game like whatsoever. So I'm not saying that like he's absolved for any bad play here. And you could make the case that he was the most disappointing player, I suppose. but I do think it was Hopkins or Kelsey, like one of them. Lamar would have been crucified. Yeah, exactly. By the way, the whole Lamar Josh Allen thing is one of the T-shirts I made. So I was really looking forward to revealing that, but we'll have to do that on Tuesday, hopefully. But yeah, so I really think one of those two is most disappointing. I think given what Hopkins has been through to get here, and then he just had this huge letdown. I think like he was the most disappointing player, even though like he hadn't been playing that much. Just to like make that huge drop, like that's something that like a scrub 5th round rookie does, you know, like the Jay Wayne guy that the Texans were using to transition to the Texans. Like that was horrible. Like he would have scored a touchdown, made it 24-7. Like suddenly the Chiefs have some life. Instead, it's 24-0, and yeah, they're just dead heading into halftime, like a long halftime. It's just so brutal.
I was nervous. Like, what if it was going to be like the greatest comeback of all time? You know, like what if they pulled a 28-3 to get the 3-peat? Then they'll definitely be like, oh, the greatest comeback, you know?
Yeah,
to close the 3-peat for the greatest team. And I'll tell you what, I don't think that. I think it's going to be several years until they get back to the Super Bowl.
That's what everyone says. I don't necessarily agree with that.
No, you're wrong here.
So you still hate the Chiefs then? That's like what I called this video. I said, I said justice versus Chiefs to start, but on Twitter I wrote the hatred for the Chiefs has come to an end. Maybe. Do you still hate the Chiefs? Like, what is your hate level from like 1 to 10?
Well, it depends, you know. Well, I think I mean, they'll make the playoffs, but
okay.
I don't know. I think some teams, like I like the Texans next year. You got the Ravens and the Bills. You're telling me the Chiefs are going to get there again with those teams out there? I don't think so. The Bengals, I think, you know. Geez, if only the Bengals had beaten the Patriots that week 1, man.
This is a stupid team. Why? Well, tell me why you don't like the Chiefs here, because I have made a small bet on them to win the Super Bowl next year at 9-1, because I got it's 6.5 to 1 here. I got 9-1 because of some like profit boosts and stuff like that, and I thought, hey, just want a built-in hedge because I like a lot of the NFC teams. So tell me like why you don't like the Chiefs for next year.
Because they're just it's not. It goes against like typical arcs with these teams, you know.
I don't understand. Tell me more, please.
I don't know. Like, I just don't see them like coming back again, like making another. I mean, they've been to like 3 Super Bowls in a row, like 4 in the last 5 years. And that takes a lot out of you. Like, I don't know. It's hard to like keep doing that. That's why hardly anyone ever does it. And they weren't nearly as good as their record indicated. I can't believe that they. I can't even believe that they made it to the Super Bowl in the first freaking place. I'm just saying, I don't think they're going to be there next year. I really don't. I think you should get your money back for that bet and put it on the Green Bay Packers, man.
Well, we can get to the but my counter to the Chiefs is that I totally agree that their record wasn't nearly as indicative as as how talented they were. But at the same time, they had such a bad roster. I think like some good defense players, obviously, Mahomes, obviously, but like, and then Travis Kelce, but although he's on the decline, like their roster isn't that good. And yet they're still able to get to the Super Bowl. They're still able to win 15 games, and they could have won a 16 game had they tried against Denver in the final week of the season. Like they're going to make improvements to their roster. They're going to fix their blocking. Like they couldn't block on the edges at all. Their tackles were awful. They are going to get better at that. Like they have to. Like
they're going to draft a lineman.
Sure, they draft a lineman. They can sign a lineman. Like they'll be able to fix it. They know what the problem is, and if they fix their tackles, and you have Rashee Rice coming back from injury next year, I assume that they're going to get a receiver in some sort of fashion. I don't know who, but they'll get a receiver. They'll fix their tackles. Like that's really the only thing they need to do. Once they do that, like they're going to be better than they were last year. And yeah, maybe they don't get all the breaks. So instead of 15-2, maybe they go 13-4. But this 13-14 next year might be better than the last year's team. And I don't think the AFC is that strong. I mean, you have Buffalo, you have Baltimore, you like Houston. I want to hear about that, but I don't like. I think the NFC is much stronger than the AFC, and I think the road to the Super Bowl is a lot easier in the AFC.
Okay. Well, who do you like from the NFC?
Who don't I like half the conference.
Yeah, I do too. I like the Washington football team, and I like the Packers.
Okay. I'll say this: the Redskins are my favorite play. They're 22-1 here. I bet 3 units on it already. That was official. I bet another half unit. Actually, that was a bonus bet, but still, it's 22-1 here. Well, tell me why you like the Redskins, then I'll add to it.
Oh, they're just. I mean, look at the value. I mean, look. That team's only going to get better. Wow, like I think McLaurin was really emerging. Obviously, Jade. Yeah, okay, he could have a sophomore slump, of course, but I don't know. I remember seeing this. I got this notification. Like there were some teams that saying they wanted to be traded there. I don't know. I mean, at that number, that seems like a steal, especially. So I think it's the number mostly that really sells it for me.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, Jane Daniels is going to have experience next year, and that didn't work out for C.J. Stroud. You know, he had a sophomore slump, and you know you've seen quarterbacks have sophomore slumps, so it could happen. But we've also seen sophomore quarterbacks win the Super Bowl, like or basically win the Super Bowl. Like Russell Wilson won Super Bowl when he was a sophomore. Carson Wentz was the NFL MVP leading candidate when he went down, like as a second year player. Like, had he stayed healthy, I think the Eagles still would have won. You know, they won with Nick Foles.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers won his 3rd year.
Yeah, so I mean, you've seen it like a lot where these second year quarterbacks. Was it Joe Burrow went to the Super Bowl in his 2nd year, and you know he lost, but you know he had the lead in the second half. So it's happened a lot, and the reason for that is because these quarterbacks are on the rookie deals. And these rookie deals allow these teams to have a ton of cap space. The Redskins have $75 million in cap space. They're the 3rd most in cap space. They have the most cap space in the NFC. Only the Raiders and the Patriots have more cap space than the Redskins. So they can make a lot of moves this offseason. They could trade for Myles Garrett. Like that trade could happen tomorrow. Cleveland's $35 million over the cap. They need to trade Garrett, and Garrett wants out. He wants to go to a contender, and like I imagine Myles Garrett would love to play with Jane Daniels. Like he's never had a franchise quarterback outside of, you could maybe argue Baker Mayfield like for a year. But like he'd have a franchise quarterback set in stone for the first time in his career. Like I'm sure he'd be thrilled to go there. And they'd still have a ton of cap space left over once they traded for him. They could sign T. Higgins. They could sign Ronnie Stanley. They could sign Brandon Sheriff. Like they could load up the roster because they have Jane Daniels on a rookie deal. And so, you know, I think this team could be a powerhouse. Had it, you know, especially if Jane Daniels like, you know, improves or even like just if he plays just as well as he did this year and like has no regression, if that's it, like this team could win the Super Bowl. They went to the NFC Championship. They dominated Detroit, and they got blown out by the Eagles. The Eagles were just a much better team. You know, the Eagles are going to lose some players, and so like I think it's going to be very it's going to be much closer between the two teams. Like I still think the Eagles are a better team than the Redskins, but they're 6-1, and the Redskins are 22-1. And if the Redskins trade for Myles Garrett, that 22-1, you can say bye-bye to that. It's gone.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's why I bet them already. Like I generally like want to wait until free agency in the draft, but I think this is a bet you have to get ahead of because you're going to lose a number. Like, even if they don't win the Super Bowl, I think it's still smart to bet them if you like them because you know you're going to lose out on the value. And
you're going to have great hedge value. I mean, I can't imagine they're, you know, barring injury, they're not going to make the playoffs. So now you're holding a 22-1 ticket, and you expect them to make some sort of, you know, deep playoff run, especially if they, you know, meet your expectations for the season. Mm-hmm. So I think there's an advantage to that too. That's part of it, part of the part and parcel, as they say, you know.
Yeah.
What else? What are some of the long shots this year?
Hold on. Sorry. We had a question from super chat from John Sanders. Thank you so much, John. 411 super chat.
Really thank you, John. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, John. It's just really, I mean,
Appreciate it.
you and Slew always support the show. Just really appreciate it. He says, worst free agent receiver crop ever if Higgins resigns. Let's take a look at it. I have on the site, we have free agency rankings. So it is convenient to look at this. So we have Higgins. Obviously, he's the crown jewel of this receiving class in free agency. You also have Chris Godwin. He's coming off an injury, but it's not like he broke his ankle. It's not like he tore ligaments or something. Like he's going to be 100%. So you have Godwin. He's like a nice like temporary solution if the Redskins sign him. It's like you're going to get 2 good years out of him. I think he's 29. You have Keenan Allen, who he was like fat and out of shape to start the season last year, but then he got into shape and had a strong finish. So I don't think that's that bad. Marquise Brown barely played last year. Amari Cooper is 31, but he was injured last year. Maybe he bounces back. Cooper's a great route runner, so I feel like he can play to his mid-30s. Stephon Diggs, unfortunately, is coming off torn ACL, so I wouldn't expect much from him, but he could take a shot there if they're desperate. Nick Westbrook-Akine. Now we get to the slop here. Nick Westbrook-Akine. He caught a bunch of touchdowns. He's like Chris Carter.
The Packers should sign NWI.
NWI. Yeah, and MVS. They have NWI and MVS.
Yeah. They should sign him.
Speaking of MVS, we
bring him back.
Right there. MVS and Darius Slayton, Zay Jones, Greg Dortch, Mike Williams, Joshua Palmer, Deontay Johnson, Demarcus Robinson, Tim Patrick, Olamide. Here's the wrestling guys: Olamide Zacchaeus, De'Ami Brown, Noah Brown, DeAndre Hopkins, and then Elijah Moore. Look, this is not a great receiving class of free agents, but even if you miss out on Higgins, like Godwin and Allen are not that bad. Like they're good number 2. Like Godwin's a really good number 2. Allen, like maybe he declines, but I think he's worth a shot. So yeah, and then you could just always draft one. So I feel like the Redskins are going to get one of these guys. It just makes a lot of sense. So I'll just file for Social Security. Nice one. No, I mean he had a really good run in the second half of the season. I played him in DraftKings like every week. Like he was producing. So it's not that bad. I have a feeling Godwin's going to go to Jacksonville just because Liam Cohen's there. It just makes a lot of sense.
Plus, he doesn't want to move too far away. It's just he can drive there.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. Like it's he doesn't have to move his family. I don't know if he has family, but if he does have a family, he doesn't have to move them. So that is convenient. Plus, you can stay in Florida and avoid the state tax, which is always nice. But no, I mean, look, I think the Redskins will get one of these 3. I think we'll see. I don't know if Higgins is getting re-signed. I think I could see him getting franchised and then traded. I don't know if the Bengals just let him get away for nothing, although it's like a 3rd-round compensatory. But still, I think the Bengals are too cheap to re-sign him. Personally, I could be wrong, but that's what history has shown.
You think T. Higgins is going to go? Where do you think he's going to go?
If he leaves, I think the Redskins. They have the most cap space. I think Redskins or Patriots. Because those are the 2 teams that have the most, or Raiders, maybe Raiders too. Those are the 3 teams with the most cap space. Now, if he cares about winning, he'll go to the Redskins. If he wants the most money, I think the Patriots have the most money, so you can go there. Maybe maybe he's like, oh, Drake May look pretty good. Maybe I could be his number 1 receiver. I think that makes sense. And then with the Raiders, you have Tom Brady. Like Tom Brady is going to have some influence there, so you'll be able to recruit some people. So. Those are my 3 favorites, but you never know. There could always be surprises. Burrow's putting out a lot of public pressure on Mike Brown. Love it. Yeah, Burrow's just like suddenly realized that he's plays for a cheap owner. It's like the moment you realize you play for a cheap owner, it's kind of sad that they're gonna ruin Joe Burrow's career just by like having him be mediocre. I think you said you like the Bengals. I think you said it's one of the teams here.
Yeah, let's see them. I want to see what some of the longer shots are too.
Yeah, we can get to that in a bit. But Bengals are 21-1, and you also said you like the Packers at 19-1. You want to talk about those?
Oh, of course. I mean, I don't know what happened to my Packers at the end of the season. I think I started liking them too much, and that jinxed them. Yeah, that was the sole cause of that. But I mean, I don't know. I think they have so many good pieces. I mean, they need to get a little. I mean, they had some injuries at receiver, throughout the year. But I said before, I feel like most of their, a lot of their receivers could be like number 2s on a lot of teams. And I think they have a deep team, but they just need, I don't know. Do you think they just need more experience? I think they definitely have a shot. This season was disappointing. I thought they would make a deeper run, but I don't know, like 19 or 20-1, maybe. Like that seems pretty good to me. So
I think it's okay personally. What happened to them at the end of the year was Christian Watson going down. I know that
mhm.
like his dad and I don't get along, but Christian Watson is pretty important to that team.
Yeah, yeah.
We saw it last year too, 2023, when Watson wasn't on the field, their offense just wasn't as explosive. And then when he came back, like he had some big games, and granted, he had some games where he didn't do much statistically, but like as he's a deep threat that teams have to worry about. And like when he's not there, the Packers don't have anyone else to threaten them deep. Like Romy Dobbs, possession receiver. Like all the other guys they have too. Like Jaden Reed just plays out of the slot. Like maybe Dontavian Wicks, you could argue. Like but like none of these guys like are really great downfield threats except for Watson. That's like the one thing he does best is like just challenge opposing defenses downfield. And when you don't have that, your players or the opposing defense can play closest to the line of scrimmage. And so it was much harder for the Packers to move the ball when Watson wasn't there. And another thing that I saw from the Packers is just like Jordan Love's his mechanics just like fell apart at the end of the year. Like he was constantly throwing off his back foot, just ridiculous at a ridiculous rate, which like I didn't see when they were hot. Like maybe I was just not like maybe I'm like misremembering or like wasn't looking clearly, but like I definitely saw that, especially in the Minnesota game. I thought that's when his mechanics first started falling apart. Like he was just all like throwing like continuously off his back foot. Like he was just awful down the stretch. And maybe that was a byproduct of Watson not being there. I don't know, but he was he did not play well to close out the year. So I would say those two things. I don't know if I trust Jordan Love to win the Super Bowl. Like that's I don't know if I could put money on the Packers. Maybe like a bonus bet or something, but I don't know if I could put any real money on the Packers winning the Super Bowl. Even though I think they're a good team and I think will make the playoffs, but I just don't see it. I don't see it with Jordan Love.
I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
What else we got?
Well, you said Cincinnati. Did you want to touch on them?
I don't know. I feel it just seems like these teams that find their rhythm, at the end of the season, that like either have an early playoff loss or like just miss it, like the Bengals, did. I don't know. They always seem to have like come back and have like a strong season. Expectations were pretty high for them this year. Obviously, they were not met, but I just don't see why they wouldn't be back. Yeah, if they lose T. Higgins, of course it's going to hurt, but I don't know. Oh, maybe that'll give Nick Yoshi or Andre Yossi
It's called Yuskevich. Serbian, like playing with like.
Isn't it? It's Josivas, right?
It's Yoshivas. Yeah, I call it Yuskevich.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think they're gonna. Again, I think there's a lot of value there, especially seeing how well they played at the end of the year.
I don't like it.
Okay.
I get the number. Like the number looks good. It pops out. Like when I tweeted this right after the Super Bowl win, the Eagles win. I posted an image of this and I was like, "Who are you betting?" And I feel like everyone said Cincinnati. I was like the number one team, like Cincinnati.
Interesting.
It's like, man, have you not paid attention to how their owner doesn't spend money at all? Like they just let all these good players leave. Like when they went to the Super Bowl 3 years ago, they had such a great defense. They had all these great defensive stars like DJ Reader, Jesse Bates, what's his face? The two good corners they had, Chidobe Awuzie. They had so many good defensive players. They let them all go. All of them left, and they didn't replace them. So like they're like, okay, we're gonna sign some guys with those guys gone. They just didn't replace them, and they drafted guys. And I don't know if you saw this. There was like this viral tweet going around where they listed the number of scouts in the scouting department for each team in the AFC North. Like the Browns and Steelers both have like they're in the 20s, and the Ravens I think were like in the teens, and the Bengals had 4. like no wonder they draft terribly all the time. Like they just don't have a scouting department. They have 4 guys in the scouting department. It's like embarrassing.
Oh,
it just goes to show like the owner just doesn't want to spend money. And it worked when Burrow was on a rookie deal. Again, rookie deal. Because he could spend that money elsewhere because like there is a salary cap floor, but like now that Burrow's getting paid a ton of money and Chase is about to make a ton of money, like all the money he is willing to spend is going to go to 2 guys. That's it. So it's like a 2-man show in Cincinnati. But they do have like Trey Hendrickson and stuff, but like really, this is like I feel like the Bengals are like this fancy looking car, like a Lamborghini, but like there's no motor, there's no engine, like it just doesn't run. And I think that's what the Bengals is to me. And I could see them maybe making the playoffs. I think they're gonna be a fringe team again. I think they're gonna be 8-9, 9-8, maybe 10-7.
Okay.
I can't see them winning with like no defense. They can't stop anyone. And I don't think they're going to do anything to fix it.
What if they get a good draft pick?
Well, I mean, that goes to show that, like, if they had a good scouting department, you could be like, yeah, maybe they have a great draft, but do you trust a team with a scouting department of 4 people to have a good draft?
Right.
It's just so hard. So
maybe they're that good. What they lack in quantity, they make up for quality.
maybe they're the best 4 scouts of all time. But based on how they draft, that's not the case. So,
well, they drafted a man named Jackpot Joe Burrow, and look how that worked out.
You didn't really have to scout for that.
No, you have to. You could. What if you avoided the bust? What if you were like, imagine the scouts for the Colts that took Manning over Ryan Leaf, and I love Ryan Leaf. I think he's Ryan Leaf is a personal hero. That guy's an interesting character. But remember they thought that they might pick him over Manning, and obviously one worked out much better than the other. So
the Colts were going to take Ryan Leaf, and then Ryan Leaf said, "I don't want to go there." So don't credit the scouts of the Colts. They were going to take Leaf.
Actually, is that right?
Yeah, and actually it was Jim Irsay. Jim Irsay wanted to take Ryan Leaf, and then Ryan Leaf just is like, he didn't show up to an interview. Like he's like I don't want to play here. I want to go to San Diego. Like he basically forced himself out of the top pick. So the Colts get credit. They don't deserve credit. They wanted to take Ryan Leaf. They wanted to take Ryan Leaf.
All these years they got the credit, and you just outed them.
It's in a book.
I know. I'm just joking. No, but I mean, you got to give them like, oh, you know what I saw recently? I saw a Ryan Leaf interview on the Dan Patrick show, and Dan Patrick, like in his studio, had a Ryan Leaf Colts jersey. I thought that's kind of neat.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea to make jerseys. So it's like I couldn't sell those because of the copyright rights, but like I feel like the NFL should sell like what if jerseys. I think that'd be awesome. Like Ricky Williams Eagles jersey. Like he was supposed to be the Eagles pick. Like they took McNabb and he got booed. It was really the fans are booing the Eagles, not McNabb. But
right. I remember that. Remember the Bengals took Achilles Smith right before.
Yeah. Achilles Smith. That draft had Culpepper, Cade McNown, who had the weirdest shotgun snap stance of all time. Like he was like almost like standing sideways. Like he would like stand like this and like catch a shot.
I remember that. Yeah.
It's so weird. Anyone watching, it's just like if your mind wants to be blown, just like watch Cade McNown take a shotgun snap. You're like, what? Where's he looking? He's like looking.
I'd like to look that up. I'd like to check that out.
Very strange. And Sean King was in that draft too, and like he turned out to be better than McNown and Achilles Smith. So, and then poor Tim Cowles just got injured all the time. Dan Marino Jets jersey, Randy Moss Jets jersey. How about Nick Bosa Arizona Cardinals jersey? I don't know what else. I think a lot of these. I wish we could capitalize on this. Like we would get a lot of legal trouble if we sold these jerseys.
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
Maybe like T-shirts that say like New York Moss on the back. Like we're not saying Jets, we're saying New York Moss. I don't know.
Right. No, that's one way around it. I wonder. Patrick Mahomes Bears jersey.
That's a good one. Texans jersey too for Mahomes. The Texans were like dying to trade up for him. The Chiefs just outbid the Texans, but yeah, the Texans wanted him too. If you guys have any other ideas, I think that'd be cool. Be a cool thing. I think that'd be neat. Like Houston, or Chicago Mahomes with the Chicago colors, but it doesn't say Bears. Although like putting Mahomes back there could like. Maybe he could sue us. I don't know. I'd have to like ask a lawyer or something before.
I'm gonna get you a Scottie Pippen Houston Rockets jersey.
Was that almost the thing? I don't remember.
No, you remember he played for the Rockets for a little bit.
Oh,
Scottie Pippen.
Oh, did he really? I don't remember that.
Yeah, he played for the Rockets and he played for the Blazers.
I remember Blazers. I remember Blazers. I don't remember Rockets. I remember like Barkley going to the Rockets. And,
No, Scottie Pippen
going to the Rockets. I don't remember Pippen on though. Yeah, There
Yeah,
we
he
go.
was there.
Drew Brees Dolphins. Yeah,
Oh
that'd be
wow.
cool. That would be cool. I'll have to ask a lawyer if I can do that. So, all right. So anyway, yeah, if you guys have any more ideas, I'd love to see these. And like, if my lawyer gives it the green light, we'll do them. But I don't get sued here.
Oh, hold on. I'm gonna get a cut, right?
Yeah, no, look, you. I mean, I got sure. I don't make a lot on these T-shirts. I make like $4 for a T-shirt.
Dude, it's fine.
Let's spend 50. I'll give you $2 for a T-shirt sold on these. I make $4 a T-shirt. It's not like a huge money making scheme here.
Let's see what the Pittsburgh Steelers are.
Oh no! You said Houston before
Okay.
we move on. You said you like Houston. Tell me about Houston.
Yeah, same thing. I don't know. I mean, they dealt with a lot of injuries last year. I think Stroud's only going to be better. You know, his stock is maybe a little bit down. You know, people expect him to have a better year, but I don't know. That's a juicy number to me, man. For a team that the people forgot, you know, sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And look at their division. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, like 31-1, they're going to make the playoffs. Like you're holding that's a nice like hedge ticket too, and they're going to have a home game in all likelihood.
Yeah.
So 31-1, you know, and then imagine they make it to the AFC Championship somehow. And Nico Collins is healthy, and Tank Dell's healthy, and they got Mixon coming back, and they're blocking. You know, I don't know what they're going to do in the draft here. And now you're holding a 31-1 ticket on a team that you know is going to have at least a home playoff game in all likelihood. Number looks mighty good, man.
Well, I don't know if this will change your opinion very much, but you said Tank Dell healthy. He's not going to be healthy next year. He tore his ACL, LCL, and MCL, and he hasn't even had ACL surgery yet.
So he might not be back.
Yeah, he had to wait on his ACL surgery to have surgery on his LCL and MCL. Like that's so brutal. Like I don't see him playing until at least the midpoint next year. And like even if he does,
okay.
he might be like Nick Chubb coming back. Like it was a brutal knee injury. Like that shell shocked CJ Stroud for like a game and a half. Like he looked lost after that happened. Like he just looked like he wanted to quit football. Like the guy was crying like in that Kansas City game. So I don't see Dell doing anything. So I don't know if that changes anything for you. Like Stephon Diggs, also a free agent and coming off torn ACL. So like this team needs receivers. They only have Collins. Like I said before, they were running out some guy named Jay Wayne. I had never heard of this person before. I was talking to Evan. Evan mentioned on the show before I did. He's like, who is this Jay Wayne guy on the field? I've never heard of this person. I'm like, yeah, I never heard of him either. I think he was on like CFL or XFL or something. That was like their number 3 or 4 receiver against the Chiefs. That's how bad that things got for them in the receiving corps. So like they really need receiving help. So
yeah, we'll see and they still outgained them. So
they still what?
And they outgained the Chiefs in that game.
Yeah, they did by 100 yards. Yeah. So look, I don't hate this number. I think you're right about the division. The division stinks. Although you were talking about long shots. Now let me give you my first long shot that I like here. And keep in mind this number is not what it could be. This number is 65-1 on the Jaguars, but you can get 100-1 right now on DraftKings on the Jaguars. The Jaguars are going to have Liam Cohen coaching them next year. Liam Cohen is a brilliant offensive guy. He coached up Baker Mayfield when he was with the Rams, and obviously he did other work with the Rams too. Then he coached up Baker Mayfield when he was on the Buccaneers. That Tampa offense this year was awesome, even though Mike Evans missed a chunk of the season. Chris Godwin missed the second half of the season. And they had no running game until they like realized that Bucky Irving was better than Rashad White. Liam Cohen's a great offensive coach. I don't know if that's going to translate to being a great head coach, but like he can't be worse than Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson sucks. Like Peterson was responsible for Carson Wentz's decline. He was responsible for Trevor Lawrence's decline. Like now you're going to have like an offensive guru coaching up Trevor Lawrence. They have cap space, and I said this before. I think Chris Godwin follows Liam Cohen there. So you have like Brian Thomas Jr. and Chris Godwin. And yeah, they have some resources to fix their defense and offensive line. They have a good draft pick. I think this team is going to be a lot better than they were last year. And this is a team that was in the divisional round of the playoffs in 2022. So like the past 2 years, Trevor Lawrence has gotten hurt. So like, I think that they could bounce back. You know, gun in my head, I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl, but like you were mentioning a hedging opportunity, like the Jaguars, I think could win the division. I think it's going to be tight between them and Houston. If they do at 100-1, I think that it's a decent shot. I think that's my favorite long shot here. Out of all like 100-1 or better, you have like Titans 200-1, Giants 200-1, Raiders 200-1, Panthers 150-1. Actually, someone said they like the Panthers on one of the commenters. Jets 130-1, Browns 130-1, Colts 120-1, Saints 121, Patriots 100-1. And then like I said, Jaguars 100-1 DraftKings. Like out of all those teams, Jaguars are by far, I think, the best value.
What do you think about 60-1 for the Steelers? I mean, what if they sign Rodgers?
I don't know. Does that can help them or make them worse?
But I mean, I don't know. I mean, they have a solid defense, Yeah, Texas Houston a wild card game. 4:30.
Always, and then they play Saturday at 8:00, and the next time, or usually.
Yeah. No, that's usually it's usually true, dude. Who is the best Houston Texans quarterback of all time? Probably Brock Osweiler. Dude, Osweiler was the man.
Stomp the Schaub, obviously.
Matt Schaub.
Matt Stomp the Schaub, yeah. I mean, CJ Stroud now, I think, but like before all this, it had to be Schaub, Matt Schaub. He had some real good years. He fell apart at the end, but
Andre Johnson, they had.
Yeah, no, they had a good offense.
Remember Arian Foster?
Arian Foster, yeah. No, they had a good offense. It was usually the defense that was not good, although they did Amari Williams for a while, but Deshaun Watson, obviously. Kind of forget him with the whole nasty business. With you
gotta. I think Brock is in the conversation too. Osweiler was the man. What's crazy? Remember
he worked with Denver though, not Houston.
Yeah, but he was 5-2 that year. They won the Super Bowl, so like he definitely like
not with Houston.
he led him to a playoff victory that year against the Raiders.
Okay.
Not okay. He did. That's a fact. That's a factual statement. They won a playoff game against
Connor Cook.
No, yeah, that was the year that Derek Carr got hurt. He broke.
Yeah, that was a shame. That Raider team was good.
They were.
Yeah,
it was like prime Khalil Mack. Remember?
Oh yeah. They had Amari Cooper, and to start his career. Like Derek Carr is having a great year that year.
Doesn't matter. It's an NFL playoff game, Walter. I mean, Brock Osweiler, he went in and took care of business. I don't care what you say.
Yeah, the Connor Cook put up quite the fight, but
yeah, and then they lost. And then they lost the next round of the Patriots. Yeah, because that was the 28-3 year.
The 2016, yeah. So anyway, you mentioned the Steelers 60-1. I mean, we don't know who the quarterback's going to be, so it's kind of risky here.
It's going to be Rodgers. Watch.
I think Rodgers is going to Tennessee. He was. I don't know how legit this is. Someone texted me that he was hanging out with Tennessee's GM, and Rodgers has property in Nashville, and the vice president of player personnel or some higher up in Tennessee. He was on the Packers front office, and he and Rodgers are friends. So, like, there's a lot of signs pointing to Rodgers going to Tennessee. And we recently heard rumors that Tennessee's trying to trade down, which makes sense because they're not going to take a quarterback if they're signing Rodgers. So, I think Tennessee's the favorite to sign him. Personally.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the Panthers number too. I mean,
you do.
Was at 150. Oh, sure. I mean, that division is they certainly improved. They covered a lot of games. They're definitely on the come up. Bryce Young. I don't even know where I am. Don't mind me. Bryce Young is certainly looking a lot better. The second half of the season, even though they were losing games, they were covering games and they were playing some good teams close. And especially in a division where you never know what the hell's going to happen, a division where no team really inspires a whole lot of confidence in you. I mean, I think they're on the come up at 150-1. Like, more for. Do I think they're going to win the Super Bowl? No. But now you've got a team in the playoffs with a 150-1 ticket. I mean, just saying, take it for whatever it's worth.
Yeah, I don't. Do you see Bryce Young winning the Super Bowl though? Like,
no.
Like,
But I'm just saying, like, do I think they could make the playoffs? Yeah, like there's a chance they could.
they could.
150 to 1, 150 to 1. And then something, I don't know, something dumb happens. Like they get like a couple easy wins, or not a couple easy, but like they get like a couple like lucky wins. And now, maybe they get to like the second round, catch lightning in a bottle sort of thing. Now you're in a very good hedge position, I feel like.
I think the better bet from if your motivation to bet the Panthers is because they're in a bad division, I think the
Just take the
best bet.
division.
What'd you say?
Just take them to win the division.
No, if we're just talking the Super Bowl best here, and
Okay.
you might be able to get a good number on that. I don't think we have, there are no numbers for divisional wins yet.
Okay.
I think the best bet for winning the Super Bowl is Atlanta 55 to 1. If you want to utilize that strategy of like, hey, attack the NFC South because this week you're going to get a home playoff game. Atlanta's got Michael Penix playing for them all year next year. It was a brief sample size, so like we don't really know what to expect from him, but he looked really good in his few games. Like he had some shootouts, particularly against the Panthers late in the year. He went to overtime against the Redskins, who went to the NFC Championship. Like they're going to be a lot better at Penix. Like Kirk Cousins was a disaster. Like he was throwing interceptions left and right. Like they couldn't win with him once he aggravated the his torn Achilles. And plus he's old, so it was like tough for him to recover. They're gonna have Penix in his second year, and again, second year quarterback. You're gonna have a ton of cap space. You would think. I actually want to check the cap space on Atlanta. Let's see. So Falcons, actually they're 11 million over, unfortunately. But with a second year quarterback, I feel like they can. It'll be easier for them to. And I think Kirk Cousins is a big part of this too. Unfortunately, it's like they're kind of screwed by that. But if you think about how they finished the second half of the year, they had their defense after the Week 12 bye was so much better. Like they were last or second. No, they were second to last in pressure rate before their Week 12 bye. After that, like they were getting after the quarterback a lot. Like it was pretty impressive how well they improved the pass rush. And if that carries over into 2025, I think that I think this Atlanta team could be pretty decent. Like they could kind of like buck the trend of these NFC South being terrible. All the teams in the NFC South being terrible. And I think they could at least be like somewhat decent. And you have Tampa there. Tampa lost Liam Cohen. Like that's gonna be a huge deal unless this new guy that they have at offensive coordinator is any good. Just like losing Liam Cohen, I think it's going to be devastating for Tampa. Plus, Mike Evans is going to be a year older. I think he's going to be 32, I believe. So we'll see how like Tampa. I think there's going to be some regression with Tampa, and then of course you have the Saints are in cap purgatory. Like if you look at the cap here, the cap space here, once this ad goes away, they are 54 million over the cap. Like that's insane.
Wow.
Like that's crazy. So they're going to lose a lot of players. I like Kellen Moore. But like he has his work cut out for him, and so yeah, I mean, look, the Panthers might do something. They have 20 million cap space, which is okay. I just think Atlanta is ahead of the Panthers, so I would rather bet them at 55 to 1 if you wanted to utilize that strategy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's. I mean, as you know, I'm a huge Michael Penix fan, so
Yep.
Yeah, I like that number too, but I don't know. I think the Panthers have a shot as well. I think that number's too high.
See,
So
the difference here is yeah, you're getting you are getting a much better number with the Panthers, obviously, but like I said, I can't see Bryce Young winning the Lombardi. I can't see him lifting up the Lombardis. First of all, Lombardi Trophy is taller than him, so that's the problem. So I can't see that happening. I could see Atlanta winning the Super Bowl. What if Penix is awesome? Like we know Bryce Young's not awesome. He played better last year. I can't see him playing on a Pro Bowl level. Michael Penix could be a Pro Bowl quarterback. We maybe like that could happen. So there is some level of just an unknown with Atlanta, and I think that there is way more upside with Atlanta than the Panthers. And yeah, like 155 to 1 is not as sexy as 150 to 1, but like I think it's way more realistic that Atlanta wins.
Oh wow, Slew's saying Penix is 60-1 to win MVP. I think that's
There we go. There we go.
Let's give it a shot. I got to give it another shot.
Is that listed here? Is on FanDuel? He's 70-1 here, Slow.
Oh, okay.
70-1 on Michael Penix. That's not bad.
Let's parlay him to win MVP and the Falcons to win the Super Bowl right there.
It says your selections are not.
Quack. That's nonsense, man.
Yeah, I know. My pick to win MVP is Jaden Daniels 9.5 to 1 right now. Maybe Hurts 17-1, but I think he and Barkley could like nullify each other. I think it would be Daniels winning MVP. But anyway, go ahead.
What's Bo Nix?
Well, I mean that's the next team I was going to bring up for you.
Okay.
60-1 of Bo Nix. I mean, you look. I'm not going to make this bet, but I thought you might because, first of all, you said that you're not a fan of the Chiefs this year. So I'm like, okay, then who do you like in the AFC West? And you have Bo Nix second year. Let's see, cap space for them. I think they have a decent amount. Yeah, $34 million. I mean, you have Sean Payton as your coach. I don't like Bo Nix that much. I think that a lot of what we saw this year was kind of smoke and mirrors, and I think that he might have some regression like Mac Jones did because he's an older player. Like he's going to be 27, I believe, soon. So I just don't know what sort of upside he has. Sorry, he's going to be 25, not 27. He's going to be 25 next week, actually. He's born in 2000, by the way. That's kind of weird. Anyway, the Y2K. It's kind of strange.
Dude, was he born on Y2K? January 1st, 2000.
February 24th, 2000. Almost.
Holy cow, man. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh no, you said. Can you imagine if that was your birthday? Like you were born at like 12:01 a.m. on January 1st.
On Y2K, yeah. Well, I mean, like, can you imagine like the mother giving birth, like freaking out if like the hospital like
oh my god, man, absolutely.
Yeah,
I'd like to hear that story. We should search the information superhighway for some kind of story like that, because like I bet you could probably this is not gonna, maybe I shouldn't say this.
Oh, like you can't get canceled on here, so just go ahead.
Yeah, all my views are my own. I'm not affiliated with. I'm only affiliated with what I say. So. No, but I mean, like, what if? Can you imagine if you were born at like 12:01 on Y2K? That would be kind of cool. It's like, yo, like I saved us or something.
Well, the Y2K babies are 25, so
that's insane.
I know. They are 4 years past the drinking age. And they probably, a lot of them probably have kids. Yeah, I mean, given the birth rates are, I mean, they're way down, but so maybe not a lot of them.
Definitely some of them. That's crazy. Remember what was it? Was that 2011? No, it was 2012 when the Mayan calendar was supposed to end and people thought the world was going to end. What were you doing? Because it was supposed to happen at like 12:30 in the afternoon or something, right?
I thought it was in the evening. That could be wrong. I went to a party.
An end of the world party?
No, it was just some birthday party. My friend Ryan was there. He used to be the editor of the site. I think you know. Yeah. He was the editor of the site until recently, but he was. We were hanging out, and then we went to this girl's birthday party, and like we were talking about it along the way, and it was just funny. But this girl I had a crush on in college. I actually wrote about her in the book, my most recent book, which is the blonde lawyer girl. She was getting married that weekend, and she actually invited me. I was like, I don't want to go. Like, well, first of all, like I had a crush on you. It's kind of weird, you know.
Yeah, and like, also you were worried about the world about to end, so that's not how you want
to. Right. Well, no. Second of all, her wedding was in like Charlotte or something. I was like,
catch a Hornets game.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't. I didn't have I wasn't seeing anyone. I wouldn't have. I just go by myself. Like it was, I don't know. Like just to go down there by myself is weird. So
no, I got you.
But I just thought it was funny that she was getting married on that day. I was like of all days, like that she would plan for that to get married on
I took a nap during the time the world was supposed to end. I figured if I don't wake up, then I guess it ended.
What if it did end and we're in a simulation? And that's why that like we see the Mandela effects all the time. I always thought about that.
Oh, so you're pro simulation. I see now.
I think. Well, here's the issue: if we were in a simulation, there's no way to know it.
Right. But now you believe there it could be. Before
I think it's possible. I think it's possible. Yeah.
I thought. Oh, okay. Well, I knew you felt that way, but I thought you also thought that it wasn't possible.
I never said that.
Oh, okay. I wasn't.
I mean, maybe I don't know if I was drunk talking to you when I said no, but like,
it's probably
I don't know. It might have been a while ago, but I don't know. I do think it's possible. I wouldn't count it out. Like again,
sure, I do too. Sure. Yeah, you're simulation agnostic.
No,
yeah, it's unknowable. Like, you think it's unknowable? Yeah, you're simulation agnostic.
I mean, like, yeah, I mean, there are weird things that happen, like the whole Mandela effect stuff. I think if there might be something to that. I don't know. I had my own Mandela effect. Like I wrote about it in Jerks of the Week coming up, so it'll be either this Monday or next Monday. I was at the grocery store and I was looking for the Parmesan cheese. And I couldn't find it anywhere. Like I walked through every aisle like 3-4 times. The spaghetti aisle, you'd think it'd be there. I walked it down 3, 4, 5 times. Like it was not there. Like I looked carefully. And like I even asked like the Acme employees, I'm like, do you know where the Parmesan cheese is? They're like aisle 4. That's where the spaghetti aisle was. And I was just like, I seriously like was walking like 0.1 miles per hour, just like left, right. There was no Parmesan cheese at all. Like none. It was not there. And I was so frustrated. I saw this old woman working there. I'm like, do you know where the Parmesan cheese is? She looks so grouchy. She's like, oh, for it. It's like I should know. I'm like, I'm sorry, ma'am. I don't like. I went down the aisle like a million times. It's not there. She's like, oh, let me show you. She like I follow her. I was like looking forward to it because she was so rude. I was looking forward to be like, I told you it was not here. And like we walk, she's like, there it is. And like there's like this huge column of Parmesan cheese. I'm like, dude, seriously, I walked like meticulously looking 4 or 5 times down the aisle. Like that was not there. Like it just like it appeared because I asked someone to show it to me. Like I was the weirdest.
Oh my god!
Weirdest thing in the world, man. I don't know.
Well, it's like okay, so there's 2 explanations for this. Either like at some point, like you went into autopilot, like maybe you were focusing more on the fact that you were taking the time to do it than like what you were actually looking for, and you just like you kind of like blacked out in a sense. Not like your vision went black, but like you just kind of like blocked out. You went into autopilot, or the simulation is confirmed and it changed. It's one of those 2 things. Maybe there's a couple other things that I'm not thinking of, but no, I've done stuff like that. You know what I did? I took some lady's cart by accident one time.
Nice.
Well, no, because like we were like both like looking at something, and then like I found what I needed, and I just like threw it in the cart and like started walking away. Mm-hmm. And then I went like several aisles over, and then she was very nice about it. She's like, "Excuse me," she's like, "I think you took my cart by accident." I was like, "Oh shoot!" Like my bad.
Yeah,
like mine was back over there. I think maybe she wheeled it back over for me, but she was like so she wasn't rude at all. She was very nice about it.
That's fine.
I was like, oh, and I felt kind of dumb. Yeah, it's like how many like do you think like that woman like looks at me and is like, oh, what an idiot? My gun, she'd be right.
Well,
I mean like because that's not like I don't make a habit of doing stupid things like that, but like in that experience, that person might be like, what a dumbass, like that guy's stupid.
I had the same sort of thing happen to me. I was walking in my doctor's office. This was like 3 months ago or something. About 2.5 months ago when I had hives. Just like that was weird too. Like I got like some sort of allergic reaction to something, and like I don't even know what it was. So I went to the doctor's office. I was leaving the doctor's office to the parking lot. I was walking toward my car, and then I was like reaching for the key to like to unlock it, and some girl spots me. It's a girl and a guy. They're both talking. Actually, it's the guy. I think the guy was like, dude, that's not your car. I'm like, it was the same model, but like I was like, yeah, right. That's not my car because like it wasn't like the stuff I have hanging on the windshield. Like my car was like 2 rows over, but it was the same like make and model, So that was I like that guy was probably like, what an idiot. He didn't go to his car, but it was, it looked like my car. So I just went to it.
No, I haven't. I did that one time when I used to deliver pizza. Like this other driver had like the same color, like same. I don't think it was the same model, but they were both sedans, you know. I was
Mhm.
like trying. I was like, what the hell? Like, why is my door open? And I was like, oh, that's the other guy's car.
Yeah.
But
Yes. So asking you don't get the shredded Parmesan cheese in the cheese dairy section. They didn't have that either. Although my wife was like adamant to buy the cheapest Parmesan cheese possible. She's like, don't spend like so much money on that. Like, just get the cheap one. So I'm like, okay, fine. But so that's what I was looking for, like the Kraft, I think, or whatever, whoever makes it. The green bottle. No joke. There was like a huge column of it. Like, and you were saying like I was in autopilot mode, which like I could buy if I only did it like once or twice.
Mhm.
I went down the aisle like 5 times.
Yeah.
Just
That
not
is
so for it.
definitely.
So weird.
Maybe you should just wear like a body cam full time, and then you
Right?
could just go back and review the footage.
Yeah, but if it's a simulation, they can change the footage.
Oh my god, we're never gonna. This is.
You can't know it. There's no way of proving it because like they could just change it if it's a simulation. You know, like I said, it could be or it can't be. I don't know, and it's kind of depressing.
I'm freaking out, man.
As someone who has kids, like yeah, it's really depressing because like if my kids are like fake, you know,
Well, I don't know,
well, if it's a simulation, it's not real. It's a computer code.
but it's real to us. I mean, we exist in our
Yeah.
own realities.
Right, but
But
like the thinking is, what my premise was that we all like vaporized in 2012, but like we had the simulation going, and we're still stuck in it. It's like everyone born after 2012 is not real. If this is true, which is like it may not be.
I mean,
It may not be.
that's when the world was supposed to end, right?
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You probably had trouble finding Walt. Oh, I was pretty good at finding Walt though. I was
Oh
really
yeah.
good. I can usually, I don't know, I'm like not bad at finding stuff, although my wife would say otherwise. But like I'm not that bad at finding stuff. It was so weird. Like I would not miss a huge column of like Parmesan cheese. Like it was green. It was like every other bottle was red. This is like a green thing just like sticking out like a sore thumb. It just wasn't there. I don't know. I need to do find Waldo drills before he. That was the only thing I couldn't find. I don't know. I don't know. It's so weird. It just wasn't there, and then it was suddenly there when some old lady showed me. I don't know, man. That was so weird.
Well, when are you going to go back there?
Oh, I go there like once a week. I do the grocery shopping for the most part because.
Do you think you're gonna walk past it and you're gonna look again, aren't you? Even if you don't need to go down that aisle.
Oh no, I've seen it. I've seen it already. I've gotten more. This happened like a few. This happened a few months ago, so I've seen it since.
Okay, so but the very next time you went, did you go by even if you didn't need anything, just to look, just to like double check? You had to be sure.
Yeah.
You,
I did.
Yeah,
It was there. Yeah.
I would have too.
Yeah.
You have to be sure. You have to be human first, Walter.
Yeah. It was there.
What would you have done if it wasn't?
I would have done the same thing. I would have taken pictures of it and stuff, like you said. But then, like I said, if it was a simulation, they could have just altered it. So, but then that would be confirmation for me personally, and I would sound like a crazy person. Like they're like, I was like the Parmesan cheese was in there. Like I'd hold up signs, like I'd be disheveled in the street, like the Parmesan cheese was in there, and it was there. And it's like people would walk me by. I was like, oh, that's the Parmesan cheese guy. He's crazy.
It's noble work we're doing though.
Right.
We got to let the people know.
Yeah, but I would be right. I know I'd be right.
One day during the dairy apocalypse, they'll be like, "Oh my god, Parmesan Walter was right all this time."
You missed a possibility, but you said there were two possibilities. Like one, I was on autopilot, or two, there's a simulation. The third possibility, sadly, is that I could be like certifiably insane.
Yeah, that doesn't seem fair. It doesn't seem fair that should happen to you when you're just going like they're going for cheese, you know?
Yeah.
Look at the oh yeah, I definitely do.
I look at the expiration dates. Absolutely. I'm not like sometimes I'll forget, and then like as I'm going walking around looking for other stuff, I'm like, oh man, let me make sure. So usually, yeah. I'm not like the best grocery shopper. Like my wife always like chides me for it because she's like, you could have said this and this and this. I'm like, dude, I don't care. I'm just gonna I don't want to spend hours at the shopping market, the grocery store, just like looking for the cheapest thing.
Yeah.
Just want to like be in and out as quickly as possible. And like I like it because not that I like grocery shopping, but like I like how I do it because I go to the local Acme at like 9:20 or 9:30. It closes at 10. And there's no one there. There's like 4 or 5 people in the whole store because like no one shops at night, so there's no line. like that I could get the best parking spot possible. It's great. Like people go in the middle of the afternoon or like the evening. That's just like so crowded. Like at 9:30 in the evening, there's no one there at all.
That's actually a pretty good strategy.
Yeah, you save so much time.
It's a very good strategy. I look at the expiration dates all the time.
Yeah.
I worked food service for a long time, so it's also an old habit. But one thing to check, like especially if you go, I don't know, like in like, I always check the expiration of drinks because sometimes like people forget like they expired. Like sometimes like there can be like an old soda that's like someone didn't rotate it, and it's like a year expired. That happens. That happens.
Yeah, I mean, soda's not too bad if it's past its expiration. I mean, there's certain stuff, obviously milk and whatnot. Yeah,
right, milk.
Yeah,
I do it with cheeses too, just to be sure.
Yeah, cheese. Any dairy product. But for the most part, I don't think it's like too bad.
If I'm ever, I don't know how often I'm doing this, but if I'm at someone else's house and like there's food, you know, like I'll check, like I'll definitely check how about like condiments too. If I'm over at somebody's house and they have condiments, I always check the expiration date because those things sit in there and you just like forget about them. You're like, yeah, it's like good for forever, right?
Yeah,
and it's not. And next thing you know, like you forget how long it's been in there, and it's like a year expired.
The first time my now wife was looking through my fridge, it was we started dating in 2013, and so I mean she started staying over more so in like the fall, and so she went through my refrigerator for the first time in like I would say October 2013. And she's like, Walt, like she wanted to see if I had like any salad dressing. She's like, Walt, I found some ranch dressing. I'm like, oh, that's been there for a while. She goes, oh, let me check the expiration. She's like, 2010. It's been there for 3 years.
See, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
it's exactly. Yeah, so check your expiration dates, people. I can't stress that enough.
Yeah, I used to just like, I used to live on this like bachelor like. Just approach to grocery shopping. I once went. I was just hanging out with my friends. This was 2013. Actually, it's like a couple of months before I met my wife. As I used to hang out with this like group of 4 friends. Well, 4 including me, so like 3 other friends. And so, like we were eating dinner out at like Salad Works or something, or no, I think it was Panera Bread. And then I was like, hey guys, I need to stop by the grocery store to pick up some groceries. And they're like, okay, so we come in, and I pick up a box of Cocoa Pebbles. No, it's Cocoa Puffs. Sorry, is a box of Cocoa Puffs.
Nice.
I think of milk and a thing of orange juice, and that was it. And there's one girl in that group, and she's like, well, you need to buy other stuff here. It's like for what? This is the only thing I eat.
Cocoa Puff. You're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
I used to be. They changed the formula or the ingredients of it, and like it's not as chocolatey anymore.
What?
It's not.
Cocoa Puffs changed the recipe.
Yeah. It doesn't taste as good.
Did you write them any sort of letter or anything?
Should have.
See if there's a Cocoa Puffs Twitter.
It's been a while though.
You deserve to have your puffs, man.
Maybe RFK will fix it, but
I wonder.
I don't know. A lot different.
I really hope that Cocoa Puffs does have a Twitter. That'd be awesome.
They probably
or an X.
I feel like most X. Yeah, I feel like most things do. You know what the one thing that I was really hoping that this company would have Twitter was PointsBet, you know, the casino points, online sports PointsBet, because they limited me to like $5 a bet. Like I can't bet more than $5 on them. Right. And so I was hoping to call them out. I'd be like, hey, like PointsBet, like why'd you limit me? I'm not going to recommend you to any of my followers or anyone on my website.
Right.
But they didn't have the Twitter handle. So
yeah. We should make a Twitter handle for PointsBet.
We should do. Yeah.
Be like, yeah, like, no, never mind. I'm not gonna. That's interesting. I'm surprised that they don't have one. But.
Yeah, it's like PointsBet, like California, PointsBet Illinois, PointsBet. There's no like main PointsBet one. It's just like different states, and they all like don't have that many followers anyway. So like they don't have a main one. Interesting. Is PointsBet even a real book? Yeah, were they ever a real book?
Yeah,
for like a month. Yeah, they limited me. I didn't even win that much money on there. It wasn't like insane amounts. I don't know. It was like I won most of my bets on there for some reason. Like they would post like soft numbers on player props, and like I feel like that's what got me limited. But yeah, it's just like $5, $10. Like, what are you gonna do? You know?
Right, right.
So,
Oh, jeez.
yeah. Anyway, that's so. Did you finish your thoughts on Denver? Because, like I said, if you believe the Chiefs taking a step backward, it's like who's going to take a step forward in that division? And yeah, Bo Nix, second year, good
I
defense. Sean
yeah.
Payton, you know, what are your thoughts on Denver here?
I mean, that's just about it. You know, I'm a Bo Nix fan. That's all it comes down to. I mean, I'm not going to bet it myself. But now that I hit that USA bet today, I bet USA when they were down 1-0,
Not
and they're
Canada.
plus 210. So how do you like me
Nice.
now? So
That's good.
maybe
That's good stuff.
I could use that extra money to put on the Denver Broncos or something.
It's actually
No,
what Nuggets does. Who's one of the golf guys? He was talking about it last Saturday. He says like he's pretty selective with this, but like he'll look at the hockey scores and stuff, and the odds, and like when a team is down and they're like plus 200, plus 250, plus 300, etc. Like he'll put a bet on them or like a bunch of them, and like
oh, okay.
you know usually a hit for him. I think. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know how he does like specifically with those, but like I mean he does well overall betting sports. So
Well, you know, a lot of the hockey plays I give you, I've told you this before. Like it seems like the other team scores first most of the time.
yep, yeah,
Because I've done that
well, that's
before
awesome.
on like because you know like I give out the picks every so randomly, but I've bet them, and then after they're down 1-0, bet them again, and it's worked out more times than not. It's weird. It's like a weird setup. Like when I see that the movement that I like, you know.
Yeah,
So
I
all
mean,
right,
yeah. I do wonder what the odds are on that. Like, what are the odds that a team will win if the opposing team scores first?
yeah, that's true. I mean, you could just I just always live bet it, of course, but yeah, like
Right. Well,
before.
I just asked Grok. So it says when an NHL team scores first, the odds of the opposing team winning the game are generally considered to be about 33%. The statistic
Mm.
reflects historical data. Keep in mind these odds can vary slightly from season to season, and contextual factors like team matchups and game dynamics. So it's pretty good. So you know if you can find a plus 350 plus 400, it's pretty good if that's the case.
Yeah, no, it definitely, and I've done that plenty of times. I only ever bet hockey underdogs
Yeah,
ever, or like maybe they're like a minus 110. I
yeah,
don't know why. Like I can always just most of the time, like those are the ones that I've always texted you over the last couple of years. Most of the time they come through. Most of the time they come through.
yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah,
Any other NFL teams you want to talk about, or you know, is that it? I have one more team I want to mention.
yeah. Go for it. Go for it.
Do you have any others?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Not at this time, anyway. But we got a
Real quick,
long season, so.
real quick, Andy. This is not mine, but Andy likes the Rams at 32 to
Mhm.
1. And if you think about it, they're the team that came closest to knocking off the Eagles. Um, it requires Stafford to stay healthy and Puka Nacua to stay healthy. Cooper Cup's gone, so they need a replacement. But I think there's some validity to this. Like they need to host playoff games or at least be in domes. I think the team I'm
Mhm.
looking into this is 40 to 1 on DraftKings. So Vikings here is listed 35 to 1. They were 14 to 3 last year, and they didn't have Christian Darrisaw in the second half of the season. So they're going to get Darrisaw back. And you might be wondering, oh, what about quarterback? Sam Darnold's going to leave. I'm like, who cares? Like Sam Darnold stinks. Like, yeah, he had a great year when we saw him in the playoffs. Like Sam Darnold's like not that good. It was Kevin O'Connell coaching him up, and now they're going to have JJ McCarthy playing. JJ McCarthy is Kevin O'Connell's handpicked quarterback. Like this is like people credit Sean Payton all the time because he drafted Bo Nix when no one else liked him. This is Kevin O'Connell was like, I love JJ McCarthy, and like Kevin O'Connell knows his quarterbacks. So all you need is for McCarthy to be even to what Darnold was last year, with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and T.J. Hawkinson. By the way, he didn't even play the full year last year. They're gonna have him for a full year. Aaron Jones, if he resigns, they're talking about him resigning. McCarthy is on a rookie deal, so like same thing, like second year quarterback. The Vikings, look at this cap space they have. The 58 million cap space. That is the seventh most in the NFL. So they can make a lot of really good moves here. I like the front office. They generally do good things. I know the division's tough, but the Packers aren't gonna have Christian Watson for at least half the year. The Lions just lost both coordinators, and the Bears are gonna be better, but I still don't trust Caleb Williams. So like the Vikings to me look pretty good at 40-1. I bet them already. I think if they make some good moves, sign some like big name players, that line's gonna go down. So that's something else I did.
I like that call a lot. Wow.
Okay. Well,
maybe I'll use my USA money on that.
Yeah, put it on 40-1 on, like I said, DraftKings. So
yeah.
Although you're in Florida, never mind. You don't have access to that. Stupid. It's very stupid. All right. Anything else before we head out? I know it's.
I think that's out. I'm getting old, man. I'm getting tired early now. It's nice. Weird. It's weird getting old. You just said people born at Y2K babies are 25 now. Oh, geez. It's my bedtime, I guess.
That's right. all right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Especially to John Sanders for the 411 Super Chat.
Thank you, John.
Thank you so much, John. Just really appreciate it. Please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video. Visit the link in the description for the merch store. We'll be back Tuesday. I don't know with whom. I know I have some guests lined up, but I don't know like who's going to be on what day. Charlie Campbell's going to be on not this week coming up, but the next week from the Combine. I don't know what day either. I'm going to ask him like what works best for him because he's actually going to be in Indianapolis. So I don't know what his schedule is going to be like, but Charlie Campbell will be on the show, and hopefully they have some draft props by then because the Combine will be going on. So maybe we'll find something early to bet on, but we'll see. But otherwise, Tom, do you have anything else? Do you have anything to promote, like perhaps your Twitch channel here?
Yeah, I mean, you can get me on. I haven't been on in a while.
No, okay.
I've been tired. I've been busy. But yeah, throw me on there if you like watching Rocket League. I'm pretty good.
Yeah,
I'm just on there bantering and whatnot.
I still say, by the way, I still say you should play bad games on here and just like
I gotta play ET.
Yeah, continue conversations and just like you can always talk about how bad this game is. I think that'd be entertaining.
Once I streamed Number Munchers. You remember Number Munchers?
I do.
I streamed Number Munchers once. Maybe I could do that again.
Yeah. No, I like that was something I would have liked to have seen. I think I was busy that night, or I didn't know you were streaming or something. Mm-hmm. But like I would be way more interested in watching you play Number Munchers than what's it called? Than Rocket League. Rocket League. I think Rocket League is kind of boring. Like once you see it like a few times, like the few games, like it's so repetitive. There's no like.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? Like I know you like it, but still, like
yeah.
But still, I don't know.
I appreciate that feedback. That's very helpful. Yeah, I mean, it's just more like something I do for background because I'm just there to talk mostly. But it does like alienate some of the potential crowd too. I appreciate that feedback.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, if you do that, just let me know. I definitely would love to.
Yeah, if I ever do ET, I'll definitely stream ET.
Yeah, that's funny.
Dumb.
Yeah. Stu is asking for a last thing before we head out. Cassandra said that Charlie stream's gonna be awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait to have Charlie on. Who wins the golf? Unfortunately, our guy Rory is not doing so hot. Where is it? Right here. Rory right now is he's -3, right? Yeah, he's tied with Scheffler at tied for 8th. So this is a pretty unforgiving golf course. Like players can self-destruct left and right. Scheffler today went +4. Like he was either first or second heading into today, so he was -7. I think Davis Thompson was first. Yeah, he was -8. They both went +4. This is one of the Torrey Pines South is the hardest course or one of the hardest courses on tour. These players at the top, Patrick Rogers is like not that good. Denny McCarthy he's a great putter, but he's not that good either. They could self-destruct. That's why Ludwig Åberg is the favorite. He is 3-1. But the problem with Åberg is that he chokes a lot. I don't know, man. Åberg I think is 20. He's 25. So who knows? Like maybe he gets over this choking thing and just becomes like Mr. Clutch. Like he's young enough for that to change. But I've been on Åberg a couple times so far, and he's just had disappointing Sunday after disappointing Sunday. It's just like really frustrating. So like I wouldn't bet on either or any of these top 3 guys. I think someone in this -4 range wins it. And so you look at Finau, like I'm upset that I didn't bet Finau. I actually thought I did, and I saw him surging today. I'm like, oh, this is great. And then I like double checked, and I saw like I didn't bet Finau. I think he made my DraftKings lineup, but I didn't bet him. I think this is a great course of Finau. He could be this -4 guy who can run it. We have McIlroy already. He's -3. Scheffler's -3. You can't count those guys out. They're just way too good. This is a better course for Scheffler than it is for a better course for McIlroy than it is for Scheffler. But like they're both two of the top 4 or 5 golfers in the world. So yeah, they could certainly get their Scheffler's the top golfer in the world. Rory's probably like 3, 4, or 5. Yeah, they could definitely win. And right now you're getting 12 to 1, 14 to 1 on them. It's not like great prices given where they are in the standings right now, but I don't think it's crazy to take a shot on them. Of course, we already bet McIlroy, so you don't need to do that. I think Finau though 18 to 1 is not bad. I think that is worth some consideration. But I don't really see like any numbers that pop out to me. I think this is something that we could maybe attack live tomorrow. So I'll be watching. I'll be tweeting if I think that if I see some good value, I'll tweet it out. Kimmy Kinigo says Oberg should win. He should win. He's the best golfer in the top 3, but he's just choked this whole career. I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, he's only 25, so maybe that changes. Maybe bucks the trend, but he is the favorite right now. There's no value of 3 to 1 right here. So maybe if you think Oberg's going to win, wait for him to like screw up a little bit tomorrow, and then like hopefully he bounces back and you get a better number than 3 to 1. But like I said, I don't see anything great here. If I had to make one bet here, it would either be Scheffler 12 to 1 or Finau at 18 to 1, just on the value, because we already have Rory at 14 to 1. So yeah, this is not great, but like I said, I'll be looking tomorrow to see if we get any good value. So all right, guys, that's it. So yeah, look for updates tomorrow, and we'll be back Tuesday. I hope everyone has a great rest of the weekend, and I'll talk to you on Tuesday.
Have a good night, y'all.
Bye bye.